Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. After 20 years in the City of London, over the last year, I have had to endure a stream of what I would call financially illiterate verbal baby food. And I listen today, I hear that the Chancellor talk about regulating for growth. You don't regulate for growth, you deregulate for growth. The genesis of our problems are the FCA and the PRA, who sprung from the Financial Services Market Act of 2000, which was a Labour Act, which created the FSA, and that turned into the PRA and the FCA. Those two organisations have shut the City of London down. We are now a shadow of our former selves in terms of raising global capital, and I heard you say the opposite.
Mr. Lowe, there's no you. Please be seated. You heard the... Please be seated. Please be seated.
Sorry?
Seated. Seated. I'm on my feet. You heard the Minister. You don't refer to the Minister as you. And please come to the question.
My question is the Minister aware of the concept of buyer beware or caveat emptor, which used to be the basis of financial regulation? It is very risky to force people into more and more high-risk investments as you hollow out our economy with higher taxes and regulation.
Order, as the Minister hollows out, not you as me. Perfect. Minister, a swift response.
Thank you. Well, what do I say to that? Well, let me just say, I think there is, apart from, with the exception of him, some cross-party support for the Twin Peaks financial services regulation that we have. Of course, we do need proportionate regulation to ensure that there are protections in place for consumers. He seems to be suggesting that we get rid of the regulators altogether, which I think most members of this House would be opposed to. I have heard of the concept caveat emptor, and I am very suitably patronised by him.
Andrew Pates.
One of the first visits I undertook after the election was to my local branch of Nationwide, which for generations has been providing good financial advice and advice to first-time buyers in my seat, like many other mutuals have. Now, in one of the previous periods of financial deregulation by the party opposite, we saw a movement which led to the demutualisation of the building society movement and created uncertainty for thousands and thousands of potential homeowners and people looking for financial support. So can I ask the Minister if she can reassure the House today that the cooperative and mutual sector will be absolutely essential to the everyday financial services that working people need?
Absolutely, and it's something that the Chancellor and I, and indeed the Business Secretary and the Business Minister, is absolutely passionate about, and making sure that we deliver on our manifesto commitment to double the size of the sector. We have asked the financial services regulators to report by the end of the year as to what more they can do to support the growth of the sector. We're supporting the industry-led Cooperative and Mutuals Council, chaired indeed by the Chair of Nationwide, Kevin Parry, and indeed we've concluded recently a call for evidence on the credit union common bond, obviously another form of mutual, and we will be setting out our response in due course on that issue.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. And given the news on inflation today and the ongoing increases in unemployment and the downgrading of growth forecasts, it's quite right that this government is looking for other ways to stimulate growth. Madam Deputy Speaker, one of the reasons being put forward these reforms is the poor rate of returns on ordinary bank accounts and savings accounts. But actually what my constituents want are just decent rates of returns on ordinary savings accounts. And Martin Lewis and others have pointed out that that market remains still stubbornly resistant to passing on interest rate savings and to offering competitive rates. So whilst I understand why they want to look at encouraging people to invest in other types of savings, what plans does she have to tackle the ongoing poor rates of return people get in just ordinary savings and bank accounts?
Well, I thank him for that question. I am engaging with Martin Lewis, who is obviously a doughty champion of consumers across the country. I will say to him that obviously due to the consumer duty, banks and other providers have a duty to ensure that they deliver the best outcomes for their consumers. But I do note what he says.
James Naish.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. I thank the Minister for her statement, and I note especially the new concierge service that is referenced within the Office for Investment that will both court international development but also act as a one-stop shop to promote the UK. Can I ask her what regional dimension might be considered within that for places like the East Midlands, where I'm an MP, where we know there is significant future potential for both jobs and investment?
The concierge service will be working across the country, and I can reassure him of that. This is about ensuring that the UK has a single shop window to international firms looking to either set up or invest further in the UK. And as we set out in the Leeds reforms, the benefits of that investment and the benefits of unleashing the potential of the financial services industry should be felt across the country, in the East Midlands and beyond.
Liz Saville-Roberts.
The grim truth is that people's living standards in Wales have still not recovered from the 2008 crash, which resulted in a Labour Prime Minister bailing out the banks and the Tory austerity experiment. So why is the government risking a repeat of the mistakes of the past when all the evidence shows, and this is important, that growth will not trickle down from poorly regulated bankers?
I just say to her gently that we are not talking about going back to 2007. We've come a long way since then. Of course, after the crash, there were financial services regulations introduced and a new system of financial services regulation in terms of the Twin Peaks, the FCA and the PRA, so conduct and prudential. We are not talking about going back to then. We are not bringing back 125% mortgages, as I've said repeatedly. We are simply saying that we need to reassess where we are and that the pendulum has swung too far the other way. We need to rebalance the system so that both consumers and firms can take informed risk in order to drive growth across the country. That will make people better off. That will give people the opportunity to secure better returns on their savings. I just really encourage her to look at the detail of this. We are looking to rebalance the system, not go back to where we were back then.
Samantha Niblett.
Thank you, Madam Deputy Speaker. As the co-chair for the APPG for FinTech and a mother to a 17-year-old daughter who turns 18 this year and is considering how she can best save for and secure her future, I welcome this news with real joy as we try to bring more wealth to more people. I suspect this joy is also shared by Aisha Afori, who is the founder of Propel, a platform that encourages women into retail investing, which can start with some very small sums indeed. Nina Mahanti, who founded Bloom Money, that supports people from ethnic minority communities to build generational wealth through group savings and budgets, and Georgia Stewart, founder of Tumalo, that has a mission to bring shareholder democracy to the digital age, giving everybody a seat at the table, whether they are institution managing billions or everyday savers. So does the Minister agree with me that this government's approach, encouraging investing, should in turn give confidence to those who are considering investing into these female-founded fintech companies so they can scale and reach more people to help them in turn become wealthier and more secure?
I couldn't agree with her more, and she's a fantastic champion of the fintech sector. We have a really thriving fintech sector already, the second largest in the world, second only to the US.